Building relationships with suppliers. I feel like I've touched on sort of close to this point anyway in the last couple of videos, but the relationships you have with the people in business you choose to go in with makes a massive difference and has a huge impact on the longevity of those relationships, but also the quality of the relationship. So when I think about certain suppliers I've worked with over time, and I think about the way that I got into business with them initially. So one of the main suppliers I found on eBay job lots. To this day, we've had a good rapport. I've not used his service for stock for a while. I haven't needed to with the new direction that I've got into, because a lot of the suppliers I had were sort of based on more of a vintage focus. And when you do a vintage focus, there is just a slight higher price because you're paying for a premium. You're paying for something that essentially has to age with time. Vintage is age with time, I suppose. So when I think about the relationships with suppliers and like how, building good relationships with suppliers, one of the main things that I find is key to do with suppliers, and it probably is the same now, is just don't be a dick, right? I know that's like, what? That's not very good advice. But just don't be that guy that goes to a supplier and tells him that you have this amount of followers, that you do this, and these are the brands that you've been selling, and don't be boastful to people who work in an industry where they know like the quantity and quality of like items they've sold and all stuff like that. I know it's a bit of a tangent point, but what I mean by it is that so many people think that what suppliers want to hear is you telling them how well you've sold Carhartt or like rare Nike or something, when in actual fact, a supplier wants to know that you can sell the stuff that he can get in a higher quantity, because that way he knows that there's more of an optimum possibility of you being a regular customer. The guy who sells flannel shirts for a living is going to have, there's going to be wholesalers fighting for that kind of reseller, because flannel shirts are 10 a penny, heavily imported from the States and places like Europe, where it's like, the plaid shirts were a very big staple piece in American fashion for a long time. They have been here. I've already changed the loads over. They've already been like a massive thing like that. That was Marge coming down. I don't know if you can hear the washing machines and things. But no, so somebody who sells like plaid shirts like this, or somebody who sells, plain sweatshirts, something that doesn't need a brand attached to it, the people that, like the wholesalers, are going to want more customers like that, because if you are somebody who goes, I want to sell just Ralph Lauren, I don't want anything else, they're not going to be able to facilitate you unless you go and hand pick, which I guess at this point, in time, I'm going to enjoy maybe having some sit-down talks with wholesalers, because I think it'd be really good for you lot to see how people within the industry like really work and what they think of everybody else that's trying to buy stock. I always find, and this must be because I'm in my mindful era or something, but to almost like slow down the whole process and just understand the supplier, because every single person in business is like a person that you might meet in life. If you get a bad impression, or you don't like the person, you don't like the way that they work, there's so many other people to work with. The biggest thing you have to use, look at that. Maybe a bit too late for the New Year's Eve party by the time you see it, but pretty cool. Damn, what was I even saying? I actually can't remember. It will come to me, I'm sure. But what I'm trying to get to with like the way that wholesalers work is the point I was making, is that it is all just about like the type of person that you deal with, and the fact that there's so many wholesalers. I know some people already have said, where's a good place to buy stock? And I hate to be that person to come back with a question like, well, what's your intention? What do you want? But it's kind of important to ask the right questions first. Otherwise, the answer's going to be based on in proper information. When you think about, yo, that one's a nice one. What brand's that? Oh, Puma, fair. Actually been finding quite a few nice Puma bits. Check this one out. The relationships you have with the supplier, they make a massive difference in the longevity of that relationship you have. It does come down, look at this, love these body warmers. It does come down to your intentions. If you want to leapfrog from suppliers, you want to try one person and then you don't want to you want to just go to the next one and just keep moving, that's fair enough. That might be where the reselling economy of things is at the moment anyway, because I've not used suppliers directly for a long time, and the way that I've sourced stock has changed in the coming years because I've gone for maximizing and optimizing on affordability. Because, like I've said a million times, if I'm selling items at an auction for £1 per piece starting price, there is no way that I can go to a supplier and buy £10 an item. That doesn't mean to say that the items that are for £10 aren't worth the value they are. It's just that with me right now, I'm a volume seller. A volume seller by a sustainable practice, and as a result, I'm less precious on brands and more precious on the process of it, what it is I'm doing, which is saving items from landfill and, relevantly washing stock, getting it all built back up to a good quality, and then getting it out to people who can resell. Oh, what's that? What is that? I thought there was some funny thingy shirts in here. Family Guy. Sorry, I'm sure because this is the Simpsons, I'm sure because this is a clothing page, you lot probably actually want to just see me sometimes just show you some clothes, don't you? What's this one? Norwegian fjords. Random flex, but okay, that's what I love about the clothing industry. That when you like finding stock and sourcing it, it can just be anything. But relationships with suppliers. Let's get this one nipped in the bud so that you feel like you've got some value from this. So, oh nice, that's an old school Ralph Lauren one. Old tag. I know that the economy and the situation of things must be so much different now, in a sense where people will just go to a couple suppliers, they'll go to someone else, they'll just keep like copying and pasting and trying that whole cycle of things without building a relationship with the supplier. But what I would say is if you want to have a good rapport with a supplier, if you do want to build up a relationship with them or with somebody where, they might potentially have your best interests, that's sick. I love stuff like that. Great global greyhound walk. This is me putting it in a pile. I'm going to have that t-shirt. Yo, what's this one? Oh, who remembers the brand LRG? Sorry, randomly just like getting distracted now. I am technically doing a part of my job, but yeah, you just got me. T-shirts for me, graphic t-shirts, they always get my attention. I know that the relationships have probably changed in how things work now. See how aggressively I'm going through t-shirts to find another cool one. That's a sick one. Merck London, old tag. Cool. I know that relationships might have changed right now as to how people actually work with suppliers, but what I would say is if you are logistically looking to work in this industry, just have like 2 suppliers that you've maybe used once or twice. Go and handpick with the supplier. Go and meet the guy, know his name. Go and have like a casual 5-10 minute conversation with him. That's all it takes sometimes to just get an idea for somebody, tell somebody who you are. And if people resonate with you, if they think you're their sort of person, I'm not saying that wholesalers will favour anybody, but I'm pretty sure that most people work in the same way. If you deal with somebody who's a nice guy and seems like a level-headed person, and that's you guys, by the way, then, sorry, these t-shirts distract me. Then, that could be for you. I'm going to leave this one here because I am just getting distracted. I want to find some more t-shirts now. Appreciate you all as always. What is this one? Is that legit? I doubt it. Let's have a look. So yeah, when I find stuff, it's not always guaranteed to be legit. Oh, it does look it. I'll do my checks on it. It's got the little Nike tag underneath. You can always tell it's got the tick. I'll get it washed and I'll get it authenticated. Yeah, anyway, I've been massively distracted. So I will see you lot on the next video. Big up.